Don't build a cool project bike like this.
Or this, or this, or this, or this, or these.
Why? There's a lot of reasons, and we're going to get into those reasons right now. First of all, as most of you know, I build a lot of project bikes, cool two strokes mainly on the older bikes, especially the 90s bikes, like this thing right here. Really cool bike build for Dirt Bike Magazine, CR125. It's a 97. It's the last year of the steel frame. So the first reason we're going to give you as to why not to do it, I'm going to show you on the computer right now. YZ125, 2025, right here. Well, 7,099, 2026. Can I click on that? It went up to 71.99. It went up $100 for a 26. It's the same exact bike. So if you can find a 25, which I am sure you can, I think you can get out the door for around this price. 2025 YZ250 two-stroke, 79.99. The 26 has gone up $100 to 8,099, so 8,100. I think you can get out the door for around this price with the way things are right now. So this is my number one reason as to why not build a cool project bike. So $7,000 out the door range for a YZ125. I can't build this bike for $7,000. So why do I do it? I really enjoy doing it. It's fun, good content for many of my companies. A lot of people out there love to see these things fixed up. I hate to see these things destroyed and parted out. It's like I'm saving a dirt bike's life when I do one of these builds. Here are CR250 builds, 95, 96 bikes, where I built 5 of these things and for sure have way more than a YZ250 into them. On these old bikes, everything has to be looked at. The frames need to be looked at for any welding needs, which all of ours did. The cases, many times we'll need welding on the cases and fixed up and all vapor blasted, Cerakoted, cleaned up, new bolts like from spec bolt everywhere. Everything needs to be looked at and addressed if you're trying to build a show bike of this level. So what's the answer for you? So what I tell guys, what I suggest is if you're going to build an old bike like this, it needs to be something you really want to build as a passion project. Either it was your dad's bike, your uncle's bike, your first bike, something that's sentimental to you, or from a time frame that you enjoy, from when McGrath raced one, or from when somebody else was racing that bike that you enjoyed. So it needs to be kind of a passion project. The dollars and cents can't make sense. So when I build these types of projects, when you're a frame up, when the frame has to get powder coated, and usually before it gets powder coated, we'll weld it up as we talked about. We're gonna look for anything that you welded, get it addressed on the frame. We're gonna do all those types of things and do all the pieces. I like to start with as cheap of a donor bike as I can. Now that donor bike, in many cases, might not factor into the price of your overall build because it might be one that your uncle or dad or somebody had or has gifted you to start with, or you already own it. If you're gonna buy one, I feel like 500 to 1500 max range is where you want to start because you're going to be spending so much money to get it to this level. The next thing, if you're going to build one of these on your own, I suggest that you plan on taking your time. The longer you take, the more time you have to source parts and to find all the parts and to not be stressed out about it being a really quick project. You're going to hit snags. We hit snags, and luckily we can move on to work on other bikes and go riding, those types of things. So plan on it taking a long time. A year is a great time frame to build one of these bikes. Any longer than that, a lot of times you lose focus. It gets put to the side. It gets buried under other boxes. Not a good thing. So you want to keep moving on it, doing something once every week or two. You're doing something, whether it's researching parts, sending parts out, picking parts up, those types of things. You're just doing something constantly on the bike build. We have many more detailed videos showing tips and tricks on these bike builds. Now we're going to talk about really why I believe that for a lot of guys, this isn't the way to go. This past spring, we bought 2 cheap, we're gonna say $1,000 to $1,500 KDX 200 and an RMX 250, 93s, 1993s. These bikes are 32, 33 years old. These bikes are really old, but they still work fine and you can have a good time on them. On those bikes, unless it's a sentimental thing, definitely not worth doing in this because you're not going to get the return on your investment. You can't fix one of those bikes up to this level and even get half of what you've put into it. So on those bikes, what we did, we call it the $1,500 minimum rebuild. And so I feel like $1,500 to $2,000 is about the minimum you're going to spend to fix up a bike that's in decent shape. And you go, well, it runs. And if it runs, it's still going to need a lot of work. So what I look at is For $1,500, I'm going to do the suspension, get the suspension rebuilt, maybe set up for our size and weight and so forth. I'm going to put a new piston and rings in it. I'm going to probably put a new clutch in it. I'm going to flush and clean out the brakes, and I'm going to put new tires on and new chain and sprockets. Those are the key things that you would need to do on any bike build. And so if you can find a bike for $1,000 to $2,000 in that range, then it can make sense to put $1,500 to $2,000 into it, and you have a good running bike like what we have with those trail two strokes. So for many guys, if you're wanting to build a bike that's a runner and it's a 20 or 30-year-old bike, that can be the best way to go. Is you don't do the full frame restoration, you just do the piston, the clutch, the brakes, the chain and sprockets, tires. You do those things that are most important so that you can enjoy riding it and not stress out about that it doesn't look as pretty as this one. Here's two engines set up behind me, as you see. These are for two current projects, 2001 CR250R, 1994 KX500. These are going to be big, time-consuming, money-consuming projects. You like these cases on this CR250? What do you think of that? Oh, we got some extra weld over here. If you didn't have enough, it's on both sides of this left case here. So we're going to be looking for a new case. So locating parts in these old bikes is a problem. One of the reasons I say not to build these project bikes is the location of OEM parts. Finding levers, grips, plastic, graphics, seat covers, seat foams, shifters, chain and sprockets, getting suspension work, all those types of things are relatively easy. But it's internal suspension pieces, internal engine pieces, transmission pieces, cylinders, power valve pieces. Those pieces are obsolete, not available from Honda or Yamaha. If you have a 20 to 30-year-old bike or plus, that stuff is not available. So you're stuck searching eBay and any sources you can find to find those parts. So that's one of the hiccups that you don't foresee spending. Oh, I didn't plan on spending $500 on this part, but you had to do it to finish the project. So those are things that are going to come up. And that's one of the reasons I'm leery to tell guys to tackle a big project like what we do. And so the bottom line is, which I didn't totally clarify, but when this bike is done, that $7,000 YZ125 out the door is a much better deal than buying this bike. Let's say roached out, you buy it for $1,000, and if I put $6,000 into this, now I have a bike that's the same price as that current YZ125. Which one do you want to ride more? So that YZ125. Now, if you want to build a bike just to have started up and it smells good in your shop, then spending $7,000 or $8,000 to build up a CR125 or a CR250, totally fine. And I support that decision to build yourself a show museum piece or to buy one of ours. You build a showroom museum piece that's going to be in your garage or man cave that you can start it up once a month, get some good aroma in there, and then go ride your current four-stroke out at the track or trail. So hopefully that's helped you guys out with some tips on, why I think the way I do. I call myself a bit of a dream crusher at times, where I crush people's dreams about why building one of these. I've had people hit us up and ask us about building their bike, and I go, man, I'd have to get 8 to 10 grand from you to build your bike, and they already have 2 grand into it. And it's like, I try to tell them, first of all, we don't really do outside work. That's one of our biggest problems. I don't have enough help to do it. We're busy enough with our own stuff, but it doesn't really make sense. And so again, that's why these things need to be something that's really something that's passionate to you, that you want to build up this certain bike, this certain KX125 or this KX250 or the YZ250 steel frame that looks like Chad Reed's bike he raced in 02 or 04 or whatever it was. So hopefully that gives you some ideas. And from our CR250 builds, which many of you have followed, we have a lot of footage of those builds and videos on each of those things. Those builds took a ton of time. And one of the interesting facts from those builds is it took us about 8.5 engines to make the 5 and about 10 sets of suspension to make the 5. Those parts were so worn out and damaged, we had to try to get more and more parts to finish those bikes up. And that's what we're finding with this CR250 engine is the same thing, is those engines are not readily available. It's going to be hard for me to find that case. I'm looking on Facebook to try to find a complete engine, which I think I've kind of found one. I'm just going to end up buying a complete engine at a decent deal, or MX Locker. I'm also looking on there as well. So I'm looking around for parts on those places to find parts. So that hopefully it helps you out if you're thinking about building one of these older two-strokes. Hopefully that talks some sense into you, or it helped motivate you to build your museum showpiece, because if you get one to this level, you don't want to go pound a ton of motos on it, because when it loses a transmission gear, you're in trouble. It's a hassle, that kind of thing. So hope you guys enjoy that. Now we're going to talk about another option for you. So the next option is you just buy a brand new bike. So if you have the money and means, one of our favorite types of builds is just buying a new bike. This is a 24 with just a few hours on it. It's a dual sport version, and this bike is amazing. And you can buy a brand new bike for 10 grand or whatever, or yeah, they've actually been going down. We paid less than 9 for this, right? So 9 grand to 11 grand, you buy a brand new bike and you spend $3,000 to $4,000 on it, with suspension mods to fit you that you like, ECU, a slip-on muffler, and you get it dialed to where you like it. Dual sports like this, you can go endless on spending money on what you're going to do. So anyway, this is one of our favorite things. It's for sure Spencer's favorite thing. He'd much rather work on that, right? He's shaking his head yes. He's not mic'd up. So for sure his favorite thing is to just get a brand new bike with low hours on it and just make it incredible. You add an ECU to a current fuel-injected four-stroke, like from Jamie at Twisted, get the suspension dialed to where you like it. It's just magic on the track. And as much as I love the old two-strokes, I love the way they look and smell and feel, I'd still rather ride a current four-stroke on the track. So I am riding my current 300 on the trail a little bit more, my carbureted 2019. So on the trail, I like the two-stroke a bit, but for the most part, I like four-strokes on the fuel-injected four-strokes on the track or trail. Just recently had a friend hit me up who wrote me, and he's got he's just getting into riding, back into riding, and he wrote me that he got a Honda 450, a kickstart one, like an 04, 05, somewhere in there, and he's liking it, he's loving it. But then he rode somebody's electric start, fuel-injected four-stroke, and he's like, I need to change my life. So he's realized the error in his ways, but it taught him enough that he's going to sell that carburetor one and move forward. So hopefully it helps you guys out with some tips and tricks for your guys' builds. And remember to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time on the track or trail.
Scrolling through the channel, see that two-stroke shine. Chrome on every corner, every bolt's a perfect line. Jay's got magic fingers turning rust into gold, but you don't see the story that the budget never told. Project back your soul. You're pulling on bearings from a frame that's bent. Hours in the pops fish, every paycheck spent. Hunting rare plastics from a foreign post. Paying double shipping from some far off coast. Jay makes it look easy in a 20-minute show, but there's years of know-how you don't even know. He's got torque specs living back ordered part. Get a solid runner, let the good times grow. Leave the full tear down show to the pride. New bite, less pain. Stop feeding that old steel frame. More right, less spend. Let the stalker be your best friend. No, 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 don't build it like that. Don't let a dream list turn into a money stack flat. When the gate drops, nobody cares what you got. They just see who's twisting that throttle a lot. Whoa, let the big dogs do the wild rebuilds. You just chase laps, not overdue bills. Just ride more, smile wide, let the engine roll. No, 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 don't project.